The world to keep their eye on Israel's new prime minister, because there was a lot of protests going on against him because he was taking away a lot of the democratic rights in Israel.
Be a part of the conversation. Have your say.
They don't want a two-state solution. They want to see Israel totally destroyed. Israel is controlling everything about the Palestinians. Their resources, their food, their water, their life. Well, you're giving them no choice.
Just keep it real.
This thing with Israel is so dangerous, it's almost like start of World War III, and we're not careful.
Rev, you there?
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York.
There's no side that can justify, to me, killing innocent people.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Keeping it real. It's XL Friday with the world's civil rights leader, the Reverend Al.
Happy Friday, Rev. You're live.
Happy Friday.
You're live. All right, you're live.
It's Friday, March the 14th. Do you know what time it is? It's Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. And welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, it is Exhale Friday. Every Friday, we open up the lines for 3 hours and let you talk about whatever's on your mind, get whatever is in your heart. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, live stream. If you go right on the website, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, live stream, and you can watch the program and put your comments on, and I'll read as many of them as we can. A lot is going on. Well, it seems as the Senate is about to vote to avert a government shutdown. 2 or 3 Democrats have now said they will vote for it to move forward, including the minority leader of the Democrats in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, and John Fetterman out of Pennsylvania, and I believe Kirsten Gillibrand out of New York. A lot of people on the left are disturbed, saying they should not avert the shutdown. They should let the government shut down and show the country what Donald Trump will do. And it does appear that it was a reversal of what the original words were from Senator Schumer. Schumer said in retrospect, he said that he felt the best way to handle the Trump cabal is to stop the shutdown, because he felt that Trump and them would use the shutdown to then start replacing federal workers and stack the deck, and it would last for a long time so they could redo government as we see it. Some agreed with that, some did not agree with it. The fact of the matter is that the bill that they are putting through the Republicans are, in my opinion, Nancy Pelosi says it's a false choice between government shutdown or blank check that makes it devastating assault on the country. So there is no good way out of this. And I'm listening to arguments on both sides, and I'm clearly wanting to hear what our callers and thinkers have on this, because there's an element in both sides that needs to be addressed. One, the blank check they are asking for, and Nancy Pelosi is against Schumer's shutdown stand. And then the Schumer side saying, well, if we let him shut it down, all of those government workers that will be out of work, Trump will just replace them with other workers, which is what they're trying to do anyway. That will be their people, and we never get Humpty Dumpty back together again. So we can talk about that. We could talk about also Associated Press is announcing, excuse me, that the Justice Department is opening investigations on 50 universities as a part of an anti-DEI initiative. 50. It's amazing to me. And they're charging them with not following orders. And so they have weaponized the Justice Department to kind of whip these colleges in line that are saying they will not close down their DEI classes. So they, in effect, are criminalizing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Criminalizing it. Every time you think that they have gone as far as they can go, they come with some more. And I hope my Trump-loving listeners, one or two that called me, can call and explain that to me. How now the government, the Justice Department, can determine the curriculum in universities. Now, if that's not getting to a police state, I don't know what is. So now, let me get this right. To teach diversity now subjects you to a Justice Department investigation. I'll let y'all sit on that. I hope somebody calls to defend that because I want to know how they defend that. A federal judge has ordered that the Trump administration has to reinstate thousands of fired probationary employees across 18 agencies. A judge blocks the mass firing of federal employees. A federal judge temporarily halted the Trump administration's attempt to lay off 20,000 probationary federal employees across 18 agencies. And the lawsuit brought by 20 Democratic attorney generals, and 8 of them will be at our National Action Network convention. They sued, arguing that terminations were illegal and lacked the individualized assessments, contradicting the administration's claim. Now, while the ruling is a temporary reprieve, a March 26 hearing will determine whether to extend the protections. They're just blanketly firing people. And today, a group of black women led by Melanie Campbell, co-convener of the Black Women's Roundtable, and other organizations, including Ebony Riley, who is the Senior Vice President of National Action Network and heads our Washington, D.C. office on Capitol Hill, standing up against DEI as I speak. And students that are supportive of the young man Mahmoud Khalil, who's been detained in jail. Well, they say detention, but it's jail, saying that he was the leader of the Columbia University encampment last year, supporting justice for the Palestinians and hands off Gaza. He was arrested, detained in Louisiana, I believe, and as officials seek to deport him under a rarely used law called, quote, serious adverse foreign policy consequences. Nobody even knew this law was there. His wife is 8 months pregnant. They asked him to let him at least deal with his wife. No. So 100 protesters went to Trump Towers here in New York yesterday and were arrested sitting in the lobby at Trump Towers where Trump used to live till he moved to Florida, but still keeps a penthouse there. A lot to talk about today. It's SL Friday, let it out. I'm looking at the comments on our live stream, and some are saying resign now, Chuck Schumer, and Bruce Turner is saying executive order is not law. They can't explain it, Rev, and he's right. They can't explain it. Happiness Donut said these folks will put us back into slavery. Private prisons aren't enough. A lot of comments, a lot to talk about today. Let's talk while we still can. Maybe they'll outlaw talk radio by Monday, so we better make the best of a bad situation. I told y'all don't vote for Trump. Let's go to the phones right after the break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all the neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action, and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here, and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
83-year-old preacher without a church.
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
You live, Rev?
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And let me say by way of announcements, don't miss Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm going to be dealing with this government shutdown or averted shutdown, what Democrats did and didn't do, and what it means. I'm going to have on members of the Senate, members of Congress. I know Congressman Simon of California, one of the leading senators. I'm going to have the mayor of Pittsburgh on, and all that tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I'm going to have on some of those that can tell us about what's happening in the states as a result of all this back and forward. Governors in New York and Michigan and all. We got 2 big days, and I'm going to shoot it straight because a lot of these federal workers that are threatened with shutdowns, and if they stop the shutdown, they're still threatened with termination, the way Doge and Elon Musk is behaving, are people in our communities, federal employees, that are working on jobs that they do not have a lot of money to save and therefore can live through a shutdown. So what is the reality on the ground? I want to deal with that. I want to deal with this whole dictatorial, autocratic way that Donald Trump is unapologetically coming out, just throwing caution to the wind. They just doing it, whatever they want to do. In this last week, he's turned the south lawn of the White House to a showroom for Tesla cars. I mean, just whatever they want to do. He's going over to the Justice Department today. Presidents only go over there usually for ceremonies, and only twice in the last 25 years. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. And those of you in the tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, I shouldn't have to tell you, with all this going on, you must be at the Saturday Action Rally in the morning. So we can lay out our view and our plan. I will be there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. looking for you. And you that are not in the tri-state area, make sure you watch it and hear it on Impact Television. It's also live streamed at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And you can watch it on our YouTube/NAN. So be a part of this. I got real end of the week message for you tomorrow. And of course, National Action Network Convention. We are less than 3 weeks away. Several thousand people have already signed up. It's free. And I'm going to drop the schedule probably tonight. It'll be posted this evening for the weekend of what we've already confirmed. But I can tell you, we have a host of people that you know have the information. Ben Crump, Attorney Ben Crump, himself be there to lead the criminal justice panel. Stacey Abrams from Georgia be there, do a fireside chat with me on where we need to go in our politics now. Michael Eric Dyson going to be dealing with where the black intelligentsia ought to be dealing with these, and the black church. Congressman Al Green will be there, who was just censored from the Congress for disrupting Trump's speech to the joint members of Congress. Congresswoman, the new chair, I should say, as well as she's a member of Congress, Yvette Clarke will be there representing. She's the new chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. We'll be honoring the one and only Patti LaBelle. So it's a lot happening. And, of course, Tanya Ali, you know her from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, will be at our women's luncheon. So make sure you sign up. Don't show up and say, I meant to sign up. Sign up. So this way we can easily say you're on the list. They got to make sure you're in a room, even if it's full. We accommodate people that signed up. Because if you take time to sign up, we take time to make sure you are where you want to be. And a lot of people coming from all across the country. And I'm telling you that we really need this convention more than ever. And, of course, we're going to decide, the commission is going to make its report on which company we're going to put on notice for boycott if they do not correct their ways immediately. We're going to call for national boycott until they correct their ways or until they closed. I'm not putting a time limit. We had a day boycott. We in supporting the Reverend Bryant them in the 40-day Target boycott. I'm not putting a time on ours. I'm saying until you get it right, we can shop somewhere else. Just that simple. All right, let's go to the phones and let y'all exhale. Let me start. Couldn't be a better way to start Exhale Friday than to go to Chicago to my dear friend, the one and only Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, I've summed it up. We're between a rock and a hard place, and a catch-22. You know, a lot of misnomers are out there, and it's very confusing. And I don't understand. It's just from one thing to the other. I wish that the Democrats could get together, and if all things being considered, the Democrats and Republicans get together in the room and think about the people instead of letting Musk run things along with Trump. And the Republicans are complicit with Trump. And how can you lay off so many people and govern as we know it? It looks just like a dictatorship to me. So what you think about that? I hear Jeffrey say one thing, Bernie Sanders say one thing. It's on and on and on.
Yeah, I'm trying to hear all sides. There's some logic on both sides, but I think that the way that we can stand up to Trump is the way I would go. But I also agree that we should not do it at the expense of people that will never get their jobs back. So I'm kind of weighing and will, I'm sure, in a short drift, make my decision which way I fall. Let's take a break. Thank you for kicking us off, Miss Eunice. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. I want to leave it borrowed. The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly
like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anyone. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make.
What do we want? What do we want? We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa God, rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Us on nationalactionnetwork.net can write comments on so we know what you have to say when the broadcast is over. I do my daily radio show now on nationalactionnetwork.net from 1 to 4, and I read some of the comments. And it gives us a sense of engagement. Too many people want to speak and don't hear what folk got to say. And folk that don't hear you, you should not let them speak for you because they don't know what you feel. So I want to encourage all of that. Let me say a couple of announcements before I get into my remarks, but let's thank our presider, Sister Nancy Darlene Crawford, our minister of music, the minister, Reverend Dr. Tyrone Richardson, as well as Chris and the band. Give them some. And of course, didn't we enjoy our inspirational speaker this morning, Dr. Gabby Kojo Wilt? She gave a good word. And then we also heard great word. I was listening on the air to our state senator who's running for mayor. I'm going to call him Reverend Zelna Myrie because he preached a little this morning. Myrie went back and got Jesus and the new wine. I said, now, somebody done been to church before. Put that in the context that it ought to be in. Give him another hand. Zelma Myrie. And let me say, during our convention, I'm going to have all of the candidates for mayor of New York come and do a forum and hear everybody. One of our members, Adrian Adams,
has announced she's running for mayor. They're having a rally today for her. And Eric Adams has been a member since the beginning, so we got 3 or 4 members running, and I'm going to have all of them. Zellner's work with us on things, so I'm going to hear from all of them at the forum, and we will decide, you'll decide from there what you're going to do. Last time, Ashley broke rank and did endorsement before I did, so I don't know what's happening now. But anyhow, let me say that on Monday, well, first of all, tomorrow, you that are watching us around the South, tomorrow is the historic reenactment of the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. Tonight, after my television show, I'll be flying down to walk across that bridge. I was honored to have done that for the last 25 years. And John Lewis and Hosea Williams and Amelia Boynton that had organized that day. You know, we talk about stuff and don't realize the historic significance of it. The fact is that there was a killing, Zelma, of a young man named Jimmy Lee Jackson. And Jimmy Lee Jackson was killed not far in Marion, Alabama, attending a voting rights. Let me tell y'all this piece, because a lot of people run their mouth and don't know what they're talking about. A lot of them say, well, you know, Nan and Sharpton and them jump out there when there is a tragedy. Well, first of all, we jump out there if there's a tragedy, because those that are having a tragedy call us. I never get involved in nothing I wasn't called. And I didn't go for publicity. Usually we have to get the publicity. I don't need publicity. I got a TV show and radio show. I got all the publicity I need.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Whatever's on your mind, whatever is on your heart, it's Exhale Friday. Let me go to some of the messages we posted. Let me start. Stephen Morris said that why Chuck Schumer talking about caving to Republicans thought they had a mandate should need Democratic votes. Good point, Stephen. Let me go to the next one. Manuel Murphy, he's right. If they had a mandate, why they haven't trying to cut a deal with Schumer? Manuel Murphy, Brother Norris House, he's answering Brother Norris. Let me see Norris what he said, and then come back to Murphy's response. Norris said one of the reasons people not voting for Democrats is they are weak. And then the response to Brother Norris, Manuel Murphy said, Brother Norris, House Democrats do, but some Senate Democrats don't. The minority speaker came on MSNBC, Chris Hayes, All In, and explained why he doesn't support it. He says he has 7 votes to make 60 Senate votes to avoid a shutdown. Shut it down. All right, let's go to Mr. White in Milwaukee, WNOV. Mr. White, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, Rev. Top of the day to you, Grand Rising and all that stuff, man. I just wanted to check with you to see if you actually got to watch the movie.
Well, let me go on. Yes, but let me stay in this rhythm of what we're doing. Let's go to Don in New Orleans, Louisiana. I don't mean no respect, Mr. White, but I can't talk movies when we fighting a shutdown. I saw it, and I'll talk about it Monday. Let's go to Don in New Orleans.
Yes, greetings, Reverend Al.
Good greetings.
Yes, sir. And thanks for all you do. And 2 points quickly. When we talk about the voting, the House, which is 435 voting members, the U.S. House of Representatives, and we have 100 voting senators. But my issue is when we talk about the limited government, our government, the federal government is already limited because you only have 435 voting members in the House of Representatives, but it's based on population.
Right.
And so, for instance, we're not getting the representation from the House in the sense of population because states like Wyoming has one House of Representatives, but they have 2 senators. So they're overweight in senator power, but they're underweight in House of Representative power. So that is taxation without representation. But we know that the Congress put the cap on that back in, it says 1911. So that could be adjusted based on 30,000 citizens to qualify for a House of Representatives. But the other issue is when we talk about I heard the guy, I must say, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid is a Ponzi scheme. Well, when you have, and this leads me to my final comment, brothers like Ulysses Junior Bridgman was a NBA player. Okay.
Yeah, he recently passed. He recently passed. I think last week. Made a build a business into a billionaire.
Right. The same can be said for Vinny Microwave Johnson. He's from Brooklyn. He's from your way, Reverend, Brooklyn, New York. He's worth $500 million too. They said that he earned about right under $6 million in his playing career. Now people say, well, if I made $6 million, I'll be living good. But that was wages. His NBA salary was wages. So at least half of that, if he was in Michigan and Washington State where he was drafted, half of that went for federal and state taxes. And when we say Junior Bridgman say he never made over $350,000 as a player, as his wages, 10 years before he got drafted, Junior Bridgman was drafted in 1975. 10 years ago, before he got drafted, 10 years before he got drafted, in 1965, the same year we got the Voting Rights Act, Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, who was dominating the NBA and building the NBA for what we see today, Will Chamberlain signed a $100,000 a year contract.
And that was big then.
With the Los Angeles Lakers.
That was big then. That was big then.
It's big today, Reverend. $100,000. $100,000. Bill Russell said, I want $1 more than Will Chamberlain. They had that friendly competition going. So Bill Russell, that was his final salary, $100,001. Bill Russell, he retired in 1969, okay? Will Chamberlain retired in 1973, 2 years before Junior Bridgman was drafted. Will Chamberlain signed a 5-year contract for $250,000 a year. So Will Chamberlain's biggest salary was $250,000 a year. Still will put you in the top 1% today, but compared to what these players make today. So my point is that Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell and even Dave Bing rookie contract. You know what Dave Bing, who the Detroit Pistons great, made his rookie year? $15,000 in 1968. He was drafted out of Syracuse. And so, but Dave Bing was a businessman, entrepreneur. Vinnie Johnson, many other NBA players have parlayed their connections and networking into become titans in industry. And I'm saying that to say, when Will Chamberlain, they read Will Chamberlain's will, and he left $400,000 to his former University of Kansas Jayhawks, who for years, it took them 40 years to retire Will Chamberlain's jersey at University of Kansas. And when he died, Will Chamberlain died at the age of 65 from heart disease. In his will, he left $400,000 to the University of Kansas, but his biggest NBA playing career was $250,000.
Right. So I got all these figures. So go ahead and wrap up and tell me your point.
I'm saying our leader. We talk about what our leaders are and what they're doing for us and all this. Just do the numbers. And look at all the great leaders we've had to look out for the least and the less and stand up for rights for us that we don't acknowledge and appreciate until they're gone. So thank God for Junior Bridgman, and thank God for Vinnie Johnson and all the greats. Dave Bing was one of the co-founders of the Retired NBA Players Association that considers NBA players, former ABA, WNBA, and the Harlem Globetrotters. So we have people out here doing great things, and we want to give them their flowers and their recognition while they're alive to appreciate it with their families.
All right. Thank you for contribution you make is to criticize others that are standing up so nobody will notice you. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good day, Brother Sharpton.
Good day.
I just want to say, first of all, if Al Sharpton can slim down and reduce meat eating, anybody in America can do so. And I want to say in closing, I can't wait to hear what you think of the film Civil War. I'm done, brother man.
All right, you going to hear it. But I'm going to stay on my subject right now because a lot of people want to deal with this shutdown. But I definitely would deal with that because, in fact, I'll probably do a whole segment on it on Monday because it's a deep film. Let's go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Ray?
Yes, sir, Rev. Thanks for taking my call. Rev, I'll keep this brief. You can look at this shutdown two different ways. If you shut it down, you give Trump and Musk what they want because they want to burn the government down anyway. If you don't, you don't shut it down, my thing is, let's just say this. Democrats, they are the responsible party. And they are, they do the right thing. The Republicans just called their bluff. And Schumer, I kind of agree with what Schumer did, because who would be blamed? Would it be the Democrats for actually letting it get shut down? Or would it be the Republicans because the Republicans are in charge? So it's kind of a slippery slope. So it's, flip a coin, heads you win, tails you lose.
No, I'm with you. I think it's a hard call because clearly federal workers, and I was talking to my Washington, D.C. office today at National Action Network. Federal workers' concerns are if they shut it down, we may never get back because they're going to replace us with their workers. And they're going to blame the Democrats for not giving us 6 votes to stop it. On the other hand, I agree with those that want to say, at what point do we stand up and fight back against Trump and throw caution to the wind and fight? And so I understand both sides. The question is this the one you want to throw caution to the wind on? Very interesting.
And if you shut it down, when the couple of judges just decided all these federal workers who were fired for no reason, you can get your job back, what does that say?
Yeah, but they can't get their job back if the job ain't there no more. And in a shutdown, they can reshuffle, rename, move positions. That's part of the argument Schumer and them are making. If you give them a 2 or 3 month shutdown, they'll redo the whole government.
Yeah.
But if you don't stand up to them at some point, they're gonna keep going at everything. So you gotta choose your poison, I guess.
Pick your poison, Red. But did you see that town hall meeting a Republican did yesterday? These Republicans are not playing. They are packing these town halls, and they are giving these Republican Congress people what for. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see it, and they've been doing it in several. They were doing it in several districts around the country, to where in some states they've stopped doing town hall meetings. And if you remember, when Trump went in the first time, they was going to stop the Affordable Care Act, and they start these town hall meetings. These people start turning out these town hall meetings, and they ended up backing up and leaving the Affordable Care Act. So a lot of what we also want the senators to do, we need to be doing on the ground. And some of these people in these red districts are doing that. No doubt about it. Let's take a break. Be right back. More of you on the phones. 1-877-532-5797.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton.
Exhale Friday.
Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the door's open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your areas. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day. One of the things that we're going to deal with is this DEI, and deal with how we target a company that has joined the anti-DEI movement. Now, there are other efforts going on, and I support them. I'm not against nobody doing whatever they think is right. But I know how to do a boycott. I'm not talking about, I support what a bishop is doing in Georgia, Reggie Jackson, and my friend and brother Jamal Bryant doing the 40-day don't buy. That's great. Somebody else is doing shutdown on the 28th. That's great. They put my name out there. I know about it, but I'm not against it. But what we must do is we're going to convene at the network convention, where we have now a commission that we have started in NAN on King Day, that on 90 days later, which will be in the middle of our convention, we will give the report on a company that has a high level of consumer doubt that comes out of our community and a small margin of profit. We know then that we can take a real impact, because he cannot have his margin of profit turn into a loss and sustain itself. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to announce we're going to buy some stock in some of these companies and go to the stockholders meeting. So all of y'all here today, I'm going to buy some shares, and we go into the stockholders meeting and stand up in the meeting and say, how do you sell in our community, but you won't give contracts to our people? You won't hire our people. You won't deal with the C-suites. So we're going to have a multi-pronged strategy. Why don't you advertise on Black Media? We're going across the board, and that we're laying out the plan. And we got people those 4 days. People that are watching, that want to come, all you have to do is register at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number. You can call now. People are at the phones now at 1-877-626-4651. the things that we're going to deal with is this DEI and deal with how we target a company that has joined the anti-DEI movement. Now, there are other efforts going on, and I support them. I'm not against nobody doing whatever they think is right. But I know how to do a boycott. I'm not talking about, I support what a bishop is doing in Georgia, Reggie Jackson, and my friend and brother Jamal Bryant doing the 40-day don't buy. That's great. Somebody else is doing shutdown on the 28th. That's great. They put my name out there. I know about it, but I'm not against it. But what we must do is we're going to convene at the network convention where we have now a commission that we have started in NAN on King Day, that on 90 days later, which will be in the middle of our convention, we will give the report on a company that has a high level of consumer dollar that comes out of our community and a small margin of profit. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Exhale Friday. Don't forget tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, 2 different shows, both at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. We'll be dealing with the aftermath of this vote on the shutdown, what it means, what it doesn't mean. I'm going to have on governor of New York. I'm going to have on the lieutenant governor and Michigan governor the mayor of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all different days. Just watch both days. I want to know what it means on the ground. And obviously, we want your watching it, because I'm going to ask the questions that I believe a lot of people in our community wants to hear. That's Saturday, tomorrow, and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. You that are in the tri-state area of Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, meet me in the morning at the Saturday Action Rally. I'll be there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We energize every week. We want to see you in the house. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television all over the world, or go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, on our live stream or on our YouTube/NAN. Manuel Murphy says on our comments page on live stream, he's saying we need to follow the steps taken in the Montgomery bus boycott. It didn't end until the objective was reached. Let those who ditch DEI feel the pain. Boycott until DEI is restored. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what we're coming out of National Action Network's convention with, is saying we're going to take one company. They didn't take 17 bus companies. They took one right there where they were in Montgomery, and stayed right there until the policies changed. And I think that our commission is going to come back and report on what companies do a lot of business in our communities, what companies have a small margin of profit, and then we're going to decide which one of them we're going after first. Because this is not a 30-day battle or a 6-month battle. This is a battle till you win. And a lot of us are not long-distance runners. We have short attention spans. I said at Hazel Duke's funeral a couple of days ago that we have too many microwave activists. Heat up fast and cool off right away. We need some people that, like an oven, just stay on if it got to be all night long to keep the things warm. And I've been out here a long time. I've seen and know the difference. Let's go to Virginia, to Frank. Frank, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Frank there?
Hello. Good afternoon, Reverend. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello, Reverend. Well, always a pleasure, sir. I believe, we are.
Wait a minute. Your voice is distorted. Are you on?
I don't know.
No.
Okay, I hear you much better. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think we are picking our poisonous fruit. And the strategy that I have to agree with to this point to Schumer, because if you delay, you have a strategy. If you force them out and say a complete no, then you got retributions. You can't talk about DEI. You can't talk about gerrymandering. You can't talk about economic growth unless you have some type of strategy. The next time they can do it is in 6 months. Within the 6 months time, you're going to hear this puppet master tell his people what he wants of them. We can, with you, with the agenda that's being broadcasted, the media can lay down other things that we can talk and discuss on him. But if you shut him down right now and just say we don't want it, then he wins. To me, I'm with you, because you ain't gonna be able to discuss DEI if it's shut down. You can't talk about gerrymandering if it's shut down. So we need to have a defense, just like if you deal with boxing, Rev Mal, you want to get hit and not get hit. So if we get hit, we got some punches to throw right back in them. But if we sit down and let them knock us out, then we can't even get a standing A count.
Right.
Your thoughts, sir?
No, I think you're right. I think, again, thank you for your call. I look at both sides of this argument, and I've been supportive of AOC and of Schumer. And I understand wanting to really stand up to Trump. God knows I want to see that. But I also understand that you've got to be able to facilitate the people that are going to possibly lose their jobs forever, because I think that Trump wants a shutdown so that Musk can then go ahead and sweep in who he wants in those jobs. We're not dealing with a regular circumstance here. So I'm not taking a position one way or another, but I'm weighing both sides because you need to be strategic. I've got friends on both sides of this saying we need to be strategic. Schumer should quit. Okay. And that's one side. The other side is Schumer's right, that you can't give them a shutdown because they want that. They're trying to fire everybody anyway, so they'll just make sure even after the shutdown that these people never come back and fill those slots. I say, okay. So I'm listening to both sides, but I think that we should really, really see what is the long-term benefits and protect people at the same time in those federal jobs. Let's go to Rufus in Georgia, WAOK. Rufus.
Good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
I was thinking about that shutdown that y'all were talking about. Kind of brought me back to when I was a child. It was old bullying in school. And the bully be talking a lot of trash. So, but I always figured like, man, I ain't gonna walk around here being scared of this bully all day, or for those 6 and 7, 8 days. I'm gonna go ahead and knock him in the mouth right quick and get this over with. and I mean, this had happened to me, I was growing up, there's a lot of young guys, you know what I'm talking about. Even young girls know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I want more than I lost. I mean, sometimes I lost, but you find out sometimes when you knock that bullet in the mouth, but that joke ain't nothing. He made out of tissue paper.
Right. I know that's true. I know that's true.
Yeah, So I mean, yeah, man, I already know what that devil gonna do because I read my scripture. He ain't told me what he gonna do. So if he gonna do it, let's get it on. The quicker the better. I think the quicker the better because I think. Go ahead and do what you got to do because it's coming. I hate to die of 1,000 cuts.
That's true. I like that expression. I like that expression. All right. Let's take a break. Thank you for your call. We'll be right back. More of you on Exhale Friday. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Reverend have done this work. I've been with Reverend all these years. Over 40-something years, children.
That's right.
Every time Reverend went to jail, I went to jail.
That's right.
Right here in this very hall, we decided we was gonna tie up New Jersey, New York. I sat in the tunnel. Me and Carl Bragg, 32 BJ, got arrested. Me and Reverend, and they put me in there, brought me a bologna sandwich about 6:30. I started beating on the wall. I wanted pizza. So they went and got Kelly and they said, put Dukes and Sharpton out of here. But they didn't know we was gonna stay till everybody come out.
That's right.
So me and Reverend, we had CNE in the corner. They couldn't move. We stayed there. So when I went before the judge, that was my third time, the late Michael Harder said to me, Hazel, don't come back to the courthouse no more. The judge gonna put you in jail. When Reverend came back from Puerto Rico, I was there.
That's right.
To meet him, greet him. Ain't no need of you coming here on Saturdays, wasting Reverend time if you don't go out and vote this time. This is our moment. So I said, I'm going and voting, I'm coming back by here to see Reverend. Because I don't know what the 5th is going to be. Because he said he comes like a thief in the night. So I didn't wait till the 5th. I woke up this morning with freedom on my mind. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Love you, Ray.
Love you. Hazel Dukes. 92 and still on the front line. Good God Almighty. She earned her crown. Let Hazel rest now. She can put down a cross and pick up a crown. You did a good fight, Hazel. Stand up and get crowned. Stand up and crown Queen Hazel.
The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anything. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now. Because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized, if there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join. Take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Raj, are you there?
Oh, hey, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Sorry about that. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I was listening to what you were saying about the options on the shutdown. So you're saying if they shut down, then he can restructure the government.
No, I'm saying that that's what some of them are saying. They fear that since they're laying off people anyway.
Because if it's a shutdown, then it should be no it should be suspended, meaning it's shut down and nothing should happen until things resume as normal.
That's what it should be.
Because
Whoa. That's what it should be. That's their point on one side of this. Because the way that Elon Musk has just come in and unilaterally fired people. You got courts now reinstating people he fired. Those are saying that if we let them shut down, what stops him from saying we're going to open up and these 1,000 people will be hired? And then you end up in court fighting it, and the people that are shut down may not get reinstated. That you're not dealing with a normal situation or normal administration because they already fired people. They closed half of the Department of Education. So we're not talking theory here now. We're talking about people that have already said, we got no problems with all of y'all leaving.
You know what I mean?
What'd you say? Huh?
Hello?
Yeah, what'd you say? You said, you know what I mean. What'd you mean?
Hello?
Yes. Hello? There must be something wrong with his connection. Bring him back up when you get him straight. Let me go to Miss Richardson, Chevy Chase, Maryland. Miss Richardson.
Yes, Rev, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Rev, maybe you can explain some things. I'll say this and then hang up and listen to you because you are a pyramid of knowledge. Now, you know that, and we all know you. You are a pyramid of knowledge. Now, Rev, I think you did agree with me on one occasion when I came on, and we were talking about how both parties, both Republican and Democrat, will not get into the detail of issues because there's so many issues, hundreds upon hundreds, I guess, dealing with the economy, education, government, everything, the courts. So I know why it is that they don't go into detail, but what I'd like to know, Rev, are we getting the exact truth from both parties? Because when I keep seeing this thing about the ceasefire with Israel, and the Ukraine and Putin with Russia, all of these different things intertwine. And I don't know, it's just an ongoing thing. And then before you know it, they're right back out, breaking out in war again. And we know for the most part, women and children are targeted. With all of these weapons that both sides carry, and they wiping out children, babies. I mean, if that isn't first and foremost important to these knuckleheads, Netanyahu and Putin and all of these people, Trump, his knucklehead. So I'm saying, because when you have Attorney Ben Trump, when we hear his announcement, what they're doing to the tune of billions of dollars taken from black colleges and universities, and I think he pointed out Tennessee.
Tennessee State, yeah.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking, Rev. And then our people are the first to open their mouths up. Oh, we have such a great democracy that we're losing. We have never had a great democracy, brothers and sisters, amongst our people. Yes, they've had a great democracy, but of course they're white, and they use their whiteness to get what they want. Neely Fuller just passed, Rev. He was almost 96 years of age. He told us these people are brilliant in their wickedness, how they, black folks seem to think that they think along the lines like blacks. And we got to get out of that, too. Change that tune, because they don't. They think to stay in advance and stay ahead of us. So they're going to think of many ways to put themselves above us, and they use their whiteness to do that. And Neely pointed that out. They've done this from the beginning of time. The Italians did it, but I don't hear blacks complaining about what the Italians did to black folks, putting them in slaves. They protect the Italians and the Arabs, but they will not go after them when they're criminal. That's the thing. And
yeah, well,
so,
I think that the question you raised, are both sides lying or not telling the whole truth? I think absolutely both sides are not telling the whole truth. The question is whether we are going to tell ourselves the whole truth. And one is facing that we're in a very precarious position. Now, we can talk about how we got here, because some of us helped get us here. But we should talk about how we deal with the best strategies and options to get ourselves out. We can debate when we're out of this how we got into it. But I think a lot of us are into, and that's why I like the way you posed the question, Ms. Richardson. A lot of us are more into emotions than trying to find solutions. So we think just because we holler and scream at the television, I can tell you, I have a TV show. We don't hear you when you scream at the television. You throw your shoe at Schumer or at AOC, they don't know that. What they care about is how our dollars are spent and where we put our votes. They don't even care about us talking about we burn the town down, because that's why they got more guns and fire departments and all. They can handle all that. You come on with it. And I think that we need to stop just operating out of emotions and have a strategy. And those that prove to have strategies that work, that's the ones we need to really try to latch on to. It's just that simple. But talking about what we going to do, stuff that are predictable, they are ready for us to burn down a town. And because what they will do is let it burn, then put it out, then move you out of there to somewhere else. And they will take that property and build developments there and make your property that was worth $30,000 worth $1 million. They ready for it, and you accommodated them, and you had to move out because you burned it down. They're ready for that. They're ready for you talking about let's get our own land, and they'll say yep. Let them have a lot of attention, because we ain't never gonna give it to them. So you have to earn it and buy it yourself. If you think people that made you slaves are gonna give you a land, then you got more faith in them than I do. So why don't we deal with strategies that may take us time and thought and staying together, but will lead to something, rather than everything just based on emotion. We mad, and they can defeat us if we operating off emotion.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Rev. You're right. Because I think sometimes, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect, well, it is true that women have more emotion, but, but what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not trying to say we should go to the streets and burn. No, you go.
No, I know you're not saying that. I know you're not saying
that. I don't mean to think I'm saying let's burn our businesses. No, I don't think we should burn anybody's business, and I think you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm trying to let the audience be clear that I have never been against democracy, but the democracy is working for them, right, Rev? I think you'll agree. It works for white people above blacks, and I think you'll agree with that.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we need to fight. We need to figure out how we're going to work in a democratic context if we can get there. But thank you for your call. Let me take a break. We'll be right back with more. This is good. This is Rich today. Exhale Friday. Be right back. Chris.
Yes, sir.
Update my regulars.
Say it again, sir.
The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anyone. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make.
He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, everybody, sometimes, nobody, I feel so good. Oh yeah, one more time, yeah. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. Yeah. I feel it. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 come smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smile on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on we need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop, stand up and be a man.
It's Exhale Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever is in your heart. Let's go to ZMT Bay in Bronx, New York. Keep it real. Hello.
Greetings. Greetings, Dr. Al.
Yes, greetings.
All right. More power to you, and you just keep on doing the work that you're putting in. But what I want to talk about, I want to respond to the government shutdown.
Okay.
This is an insult to everybody's intelligence. Every year, or 2 or 3 times of the year, it's always going to be a threat of a government shutdown. People need to realize it's not the government. These are criminals that are criminally trespassing in the White House in the first place. They are fugitive vagabonds. That's a criminal network called a private corporation. This is what the problem is. We have private corporate criminals in the White House, and they are exposing themselves. And everyone has to understand that these people are wicked. They are evil, and they don't belong there. They belong behind bars. That's where they all belong. The house is going to be clean, regardless of how we all look at it. We need to stop depending on people that are not respecting the power to the people. See, 50 years ago, before Martin Luther King died, it was a bill that was signed, the Bill of Rights, the Bill of Particulars, the Affidavit of Facts, and they abandoned those bills. And then we have treaties. They abandoned all of those bills because these people are criminals, Dr. Al. I call you Dr. Al because you're doing a lot of medical research on people's brains. You hear me, brother?
I do hear you. I'm listening.
I appreciate you, man. And you know, we go back. You know who I am. I hope you know, because nobody wants me to talk because I'm in federal court now. The court.
No, I know exactly who you are. Go on with it.
The courts are corrupt. I'm in federal courts right now.
I didn't know
and
that.
They can't stand it. You know, they done threw me in jail, and I done got out because these people are not who we think they are. There's a criminal network within the system. It is called the Black Legions. We have to look this up. They are worse than the Ku Klux Klan. They are in the system. Okay. One thing about Donald Trump, he did reveal that. He said the system within. So they have been revealed.
No, there's definitely. Thank you for your call and stay in touch. There's definitely various orders of people with certain beliefs that are in the system. And Trump may reveal it, but There are those around him that are operating in another way, I believe, that they're committed to, that are not in the interest of our people or in the interest of a lot of people. That is my firm belief. You have those that do things to be popular. You have those that do things to be elected. You have those that do things to make money. But then you have those that are true believers. But don't get it twisted. Some true believers don't believe what you and I believe. They believe in autocracy. They believe in supremacy. They believe that. And they will operate and risk everything and mow everything down in their way because they honestly believe that. That is why they can only be counted and in many ways confronted by those that are true believers on the other side, that believe in justice and fairness and believe that that's the will of God. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a battle between believers of darkness and believers alike. The phonies on both sides are not going to survive this fight because only those that are willing to put it all on the line are going to be able to survive this. I believe that, and it's coming closer and closer to a head. Tommy in Chicago, WVON. Tommy, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Well, Reverend, here's your unauthorized edition of www.howdumbcanyoube. A pleasant afternoon to all of those in the listening audience. Rev, you know you're a candidate after everything you just said, after how many years you have been saying this, after all the documented history from Plymouth Rock landing on us to the immigrants. Rev, I mean, you just can't make any of this up. It's past emotions. Whether you believe or don't believe, this is actually happening. And there's no one more eloquent, more prepared than you. And I'm not saying this trying to blow smoke or anything else. But, Rev, I'm 73. I was a kid when they blew up the people in Birmingham. I was a young man at the expo with Jackson and all of this. I have lived this, Rev, just like you have. And you know as well as I do. You can see it. The more you speak truth, the more you ask someone, hey, just would you look at this, would you see this? And, Rev, here's point two. You know you're a candidate. The dumbest thing that could ever happen right now is for them to shut the government down. Not at such a time as this, Rev. Not at such a time as this. If you don't have a heart for all of the government employees that have been laid off and tell me what you've done, 5 things, and if you don't respond, that means you don't exist, and so that means it's ghost people in the federal government. This is a moment in time for you to steady yourself. And you have to find the real truth fighters, the real watchmen. Because as I close, because here's the best one of all, Rev. If you won't listen to Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, if you won't listen to the ambassador from Ukraine, if you won't listen to Liz Cheney, if you just want to just completely ignore the opening of the gentleman from Jackson, if you don't want to even hear the facts and the cries of people all over this country, this is no longer black and white, man. The only thing that's going to be in black and white as I close is how dumb can you be? I love you.
I love you. Thank you for your call. I think that he raises excellent points because let me tell you, a lot of people, like I said to caller before, out of emotion will play right into their hands. I remember Muhammad Ali told me once that one of the ways he won a fight is to get his opponent angry. And he knew once he got angry, he forgot his strategy and he just started swinging until he swung himself out And that's when he had the rope-a-dope. He'd lay and take all he had, then knock him out because he was out of air. So we, you got one side saying stand up to Trump, and I'm certainly with that. But you have the other side saying, yeah, but don't volunteer to federal workers. It's easy for you to volunteer somebody else not getting paid for weeks or months. So I'm also understanding that. What I'm saying is got to be a strategy that does not sacrifice those that should not be sacrificed and give an opening for them to just permanently damage them, but at the same time stand up to Trump and not have Trump win this victory. And what that is, I don't know, but I know we need to figure that out in real time. And I know that some of the people hollering the loudest were the people that helped get Trump in there and told people don't vote, nothing was going to happen anyway. Well, something is happening. You're about to see people losing their jobs en masse that work for the federal government, many of them from our community. And you think I'm kidding? Ask the people. They fired thousands that a judge had to say, no, you got to rehire them temporarily. Even though the judge's verdicts helped them, it did not give them permanent employment. So think about why you selling wolf tickets. If it was you with a wife or a husband and children living day by day, don't know if you have a job and you put in all this time as a federal employee to build up your time, it could be going just like that. Because some billionaire decides to start something called Doge, and a millionaire gives him the authority of the state. And you were saying, ain't no difference between them and the Democrats, I ain't voting. So Kamala is gone, and you left here holding the bag. Think about it. Let's go to Paula in Washington, D.C. right after the break. Let me take the break, and we'll come right back to Paula and the rest of you on the phone. I'm going to read some of the comments that have been sent on our live stream page. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Shut down. This kind of disorder, disarray is affecting.
Just me.
This day. Thank you for the servants who are in this room right now. Thank you for their leadership. Thank you for their work. Thank you for their dedication, for their determination, their grit. We pray, Lord, you continue to bless them, order their steps, their stops, control their thoughts, Lord God, for your glory, for the good of this country and the world, Lord. So thank you for them being here right now. As we go into worship, we pray that you will bless this worship experience. Give us ears to hear what the Spirit has to say to us this day. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Beyond law, I love you. Beyond life, and see the ways that God has brought you. Oh, anybody? Dr. Al.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say, you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old. Went to jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join. Take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Al Sharpton. You live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. And let's go to Paula in Washington, D.C. Paula.
Yes, Reverend Al.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Okay. I am all over the place. I called originally to make a comment and to ask some questions. But being on the phone listening to the callers, wow, the information was just so overwhelming and interesting and educational. So I'm going to kind of I'll make this real quick. I originally called, well, first of all, let me thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for just being a representative for not just African Americans, colored or black, however you want to call us, but for everybody. And we need more of you, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
As far as watching you, I used to watch you on Impact, but I don't have that on my cable. But I definitely catch you on Saturdays and Sundays, and in the mornings on Morning Joe. But what I like most about your show is the radio show, and I'm going to tell everybody why and why I appreciate it. And I tell my friends and family who are not political. If I have questions, I can get to calling like I'm doing now. You'll answer them for me. I'm not sitting back getting my information off of TikTok or Instagram or all of this third-hand information like the young kids in my family get. I'm going to go to the source, which I feel like is you. And by the call-in stations, I like this because I get the perspective from people calling in from all different states. And I see what they think, what they say, how they feel. That is so important to me, and I hope it's also important to your other listeners. But what I called in for this morning, last night, Reverend Al, I was so frustrated when I went to bed and they told me that Chuck Schumer had switched his opinion or his stance to shutting the government down.
Right.
I was livid because I'm like, okay, I'm going to call first thing in the morning because I know you and other people say, keep the Senate number on your speed dial. And I have it on my speed dial. I call them all the time. Now I have to be very careful with the messages I leave, which I've done in the past, but definitely now because this man will come after you. The Republicans will come after you, hunt you down. I'm a network engineer, so I know they can find you.
Right.
It's just an IP address, which is like your address. But anyway, I'm sitting here thinking this morning, okay, why do you want to keep the government open? Because there's nobody there. Everybody you done let go. So that was my main concern.
We have Reverend Williams.
today. I got up this morning to call the Senate and ask for Chuck Schumer's number. No one picked up. So I'm thinking, are they laid off? Did they go home? What's going on? Because I usually can call the Senate. They'll pick up. I can tell you right now who has a live person that picks up or who has a recording. I've been doing it for almost 7 years now. I'm going to continue to do it. As a voter, as a federal, paying my federal taxes, I have a voice, and I'm going to keep my voice. So my next question, since I'm rambling, I'm a little confused, and I want you to explain it to me. Okay, I'm hearing if we shut the government down, I think you all were saying that it would affect the people who, like in the district government, they may lose their jobs. Trump and the Republicans may fill their positions or something. I'm confused about that. And then the other thing is, I'm old school. I'm in my 60s. Growing up in Washington, D.C., all the government agencies had direct connections with our counselors in our high schools. So everybody in the area, all, go into the government. I chose not to. But it was then, and I'm not sure now from what I see, but back then, the government was predominantly black. Those were the good jobs for the blacks and the African Americans.
That's true.
And so that's where we all went. Stability, good, benefits. We had, it was just a good place to be as a black person. But looking at the news now and checking with my family, it's not that way anymore. So I don't know if Trump and the Republicans feel like because the headquarters is here in Chocolate City, which D.C. now is probably 80% black now. It's not 90-something, 99, whatever, or 90% when I was growing up.
Right.
I don't see that ratio, and I don't see that. So explain to me, if we shut it down, because I'm like, if we shut it down, there's nobody there. Because you let everybody go. All my family and friends have been fired in this area. And I don't know what to say to them. We talk. I say, just don't get too overwhelmed. Let's try to stick together, see what we can do. But black people, I'm sorry, I'm African American. We just don't have it when it comes down to trying to stick together and do what we need to do for each other. We're always counting on somebody or something else.
No, you raised it.
Just explain to me.
Explain to you, Paula, is you raised the right point. You have more clarity than most people. Thank you for your call. What I've said is the arguments on both sides are legitimate arguments. And I think that, one, Trump has got to be stopped. We've got to stand up to him. And I think that is correct. I think that on the other side, where Schumer and them said they don't trust that if they shut it down this time, that Musk and them will fill those jobs. And these people will never be reinstated. And they'll have to go to court and hope that a court reinstates them. And a court may not. Because they've stacked a lot of the federal judges. So it's not an easy choice. That's why I've been saying all day, let's hear all sides of this. And let us remember, you said it right, that there are people in your family and other families that, don't be so quick on sacrificing my livelihood in the name of your militants. It's easy for somebody not with a federal job to say, yep, that's right. Let us all sacrifice when it's not your gig involved. So that's why and I'm not taking either side yet. I'm being very observant. I'm certainly going to talk to Jeffries today and Schumer. Let me go to some of the people that put comments on our live stream because I want them to know I'm not ignoring them. Let's go to Tricia says, this is where I'm confused. This is Tricia. Leader Jeffries and the Democrats in the House voted no and stated why they voted no. And most of the Senate Democrats are saying no. So I guess I'm missing something. That's exactly the point I'm making. Next one, because I think per the news, Trump is praising, this is Red Nose, saying Trump is praising Schumer on the shutdown vote. This could not be good. What do you think? And I think that Schumer is going to try to hang Schumer out there to dry, like he sold out to him. But then Bruce Turner said, Tricia, Jeffries has more power because of the GOP only having 2 seats over the Democrats. The GOP has more seats in the Senate, and they stick together more so they can do that than they can do in the House. And I think that Bruce Turner has a twist that I had not even thought about. The negotiations in the Senate is a different chessboard than the House, because the Senate, they have more votes, a Republican over Democrat. So Jeffries can wield more power. So I think a lot of this is how we play the board. But keep listening. Thank you for your call. Let me bring on our co-host every week at the last hour of the show. He is the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, and is the head of national expansion and the Michigan State Chair of National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams. And Reverend Williams, thank you for coming on. I got a lot of calls I'm going right back to, but we've been talking the whole show about the shutdown. Should they shut it down? Should they not shut it down? A lot of people have a lot of substantive opinions. Is Reverend Williams there?
Absolutely, Rev. Thank you for having me. It's certainly always good to be here. Look, I think as I've been listening to many of the calls, I can tell you that people, what they don't want is they don't want folks playing with their emotions based off of political gamesmanship. And so I can hear it, and we can see it loud and clear in the streets, as well as those who are coming on over the airwaves.
And let me go. Paul Hull is writing. I understand both sides, but we have to sacrifice now or live under terror forever. This guy's a monster. We must sacrifice and stop him here. Make this his Waterloo. All right. That's a definitive statement. Let's go to Still Bill in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. It is a pleasure to talk to you, Reverend, and good afternoon to you, Reverend Williams.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
He hears you, yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to send a shout-out to Lincoln Ware of 1230 The Buzz AM radio station, which I listen to this excellent show through. And I'm having a great week, despite what I hear about shutdown and everything. I'm simply trying to stay optimistic as well as confident of that we're going to get through this situation. I talked to your daughter this past week, and I told her about the fact that, right now we have to really focus on getting the ball back to where we fumbled. And how we fumbled is that some of the Democrats did not vote. I am a proud Democrat. I voted. And, it's a thing where I'm trying to stay confident. And I heard something today on the Lincoln Ware show. I heard a caller named Elijah, where he was saying that Trump is up there playing, rat race with us, pushing buttons, doing this and doing that to get a reaction out of us. He's counting on the fact that whatever he does, that we disagree with it, and that we're going to protest and have a riot and everything, to where he has troops killing us and shooting us up as a point to getting rid of all of us. And I'm just trying to stay optimistic and confident that everything's going to be fine. But thank you for letting me talk.
All right, thank you for your call.
You keep up the-
And no, I think that it is good to be optimistic, but everything is not going to automatically be fine. We have to do our work to make it fine. Nowhere in history has things got fine just on their own. Some people had to pay a price to make it fine. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Williams. Be right back. That's when Haile Selassie, Emperor of Ethiopia, came here, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was pastor here now, at Ethiopian Coptic Cross. That was my first year on Civil Rights and Politics.
As I know here, you're in trouble. Where it says about 30% are unemployed. That's why I'm working hard to get this surplus food here. Some of you say to me, well, I'm not like you. I'm not a congressman. I haven't got education. I haven't got work. But you're a human being. And you know what you've got? You've got in your hand the power to use your vote and to use even those few cents you get from welfare to spend them only where you want to spend them.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sharpton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
This day. Thank you for the servants who are in this room right now. Thank you for their leadership. Thank you for their work. Thank you for their dedication, for their determination, their grit. We pray, Lord, you continue to bless them, order their steps, their stops, control their thoughts, Lord God, for your glory, for the good of this country and the world, Lord. So thank you for them being here right now. As we go into worship, we pray that you will bless this worship experience. Give us ears to hear what the Spirit has to say to us this day. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Beyond law, I love you. Beyond life and see the ways that God has brought you. Oh, anybody?
Gift of $500. So God bless you.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Charles Williams. The second is our co-host. Let's go to Al. Al in Rochester. Al, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Good afternoon, Rep.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to comment on a point you made earlier. I know emotions are running high and everything. People are upset, angry. It doesn't take much to make a black person pissed off anyway. We have a low tolerance for garbage. But to my point, future protest, I would advise people out here, when Trump was in office his first term, Black Lives Matter went up to Washington, D.C. He tried to convince the general to shoot down the protesters. The general refused to do it. Now, with this agenda, he's becoming bolder and bolder. You know, he has the authority to almost declare treason with violent protest. We don't want bloodshed. And like you said, there's ways of doing things where you can get your point across. So keep a smart head and keep the faith. You'll get much further. That's about it, Rev.
All right, thank you, Al. You know, Reverend Williams, when Al was talking, it goes right to the point that I've been making and you've been making. During the summer of 2020, when there were those of us that was with George Floyd's family, I did his funerals, eulogies, we had the marches and the protests, and then there were those that were doing demonstrations, talking violence and all. What always struck me as something that we should see is those of us that said that we represent the basic, everyday people that want to see their kids go and be somebody, go to church or synagogue or mosque, just regular. And we marched on Washington, 200,000 strong in a pandemic. And Trump was president right down the block, didn't open his mouth. But he got a few, some of them white and some of them young blacks that start talking, we're going to burn it down. And he said he wanted the general to shoot them. Some of them, I always believe, they sent there to provoke that because he didn't threaten us. We brought 200,000 people there, right 2 blocks from the White House. So you got to watch, when I was talking that, you got to watch your way you fight. You don't play into your enemy's hand. He wants you to act irresponsible so he can either hurt you or project you so people will say, well, I ain't with that. That's crazy. It was hard for him to do that to us because we understood that you must protest, you must stand up for these families. That in this particular case, it was George Floyd, but you must not do it in a way that harms your cause, but helps your cause. And that's why I'm saying we need to think through this whole thing of government shutdown. The other thing I want to correct, and then I want you to respond, is if they have a shutdown, it's not just going to shut down Washington. It's going to shut down the government everywhere. That's post offices everywhere, federal buildings everywhere. Right. Government shutdowns mean the government, not means the capital. So people talking about, well, you know, I got friends in D.C. No. You got friends downtown where you live that will be shut down. Reverend Williams.
No, Rev, we have a federal building downtown in almost every major city across the country. I think people know very clearly that, you know, we've got friends and family who have to go to work, right, and who have to be there, and that makes a huge difference. That makes a humongous difference in regards to whether they're going to be able to take care of their families, whether they're going to be able to make the ends meet, whether they're going to be able to take care of their children's tuition. I mean, and this is why, you know, National Action Network, I think, is important because for many across the country, it's because we are standing in a tradition that suggests that we don't have the room to play with people, right? We have to make sure that we are utilizing a strategy that takes care of folks. You got, at the end of the day, we've got to continue to be we're going to continue to be with the Floyd family. We're going to continue to pick up the phone call when they call. The same thing for all of the other families that we've represented, and same thing for those who are in our congregation. I'm pastor at church and I run an organization. I've got to meet the people and talk to the people and see them when they come to me and say, hey, I can't get my check. I can't. I don't have the room to tell them, oh, don't worry about it. We just working a strategy right now. I mean, that's a serious issue, and that's the reason why I think it's important for people to make sure that if you haven't done so, head to nationalactionnetwork.net. Join us April 2nd through the 5th as we prepare to really deal with real strategies that will work for us and that will build an opportunity for the future.
Let's go back to the phone. Let me go to Jason in Washington, D.C. Jason.
How are you, sir?
I'm holding on. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing fine. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, sir. I got a couple of questions I want to ask you. First of all, it's regarding the federal firings. I understand yesterday there were two judges, one in California and the other one in Maryland, that reversed those firings and reinstated the people that were cut back to their jobs. But that's only a temporary thing for 45 days.
Right.
And I understand that Trump is going to appeal it. So my question number one is, what happens after those 45 days and Trump appeals it? And then the second question I want to ask is, with all of this stuff going on with Trump and Putin, is there any way that Trump can be accused of espionage? Because what happens, he's partnering with Putin, and that is that's a traitorous effort in his part. Is going against the American principles, and he's siding with Putin against our allies.
All right. Well, let me answer them before we have to go to break. One is that the judge did give a temporary reinstatement because he said that they fired them under the wrong procedures, which means in 45 days, if Trump loses the appeal, which you don't know because they could go to the Court of Appeals in that state, and some of them might have been appointed by Trump, so we don't know if he loses. But say he loses, in 45 days they're reinstated, and then they can try to fire them on the right procedures. So what we've got to do is find out the legal strategy on how we protect them. That's why I say it's not all emotion, because he did not say they were permanently reinstated and that they couldn't be bothered again. In terms of with Putin, I think what he's doing is with Putin is treacherous and traitorous. But again, that's why we told people to vote, because Trump appointed the prosecutors. The Justice Department is under Trump. So who's going to charge him with espionage? The people he put in place? And we tried to argue that is the power. One of the reasons that we could get the police indicted, federal and local, is we had people that were in office or that was appointed by Biden and before him Obama that would execute justice. He controls the Justice Department. You just heard on the news. He's on his way over there now. They're not going to indict him. He's the one that appointed them. Thank you for your call. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Williams, XL Friday. Be right back.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
calling the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. It's Exhale Friday. Don't forget, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be hot on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Both days, 2 different shows each day. I'm going to deal with this either shut down or why it didn't shut down, and others need to shut up if they didn't stand up. And I'm going to have on some of the senators, and we'll have on some of the governors over the weekend. Between the 2 days, I'm going to dig into the shutdown. Also going to deal with this whole issue of how they're dealing with the migrants and the churches that they're raiding or threatening to raid. I'm going to deal with several of the issues that are being ignored. They're saying that the Justice Department is going to investigate 50 universities over DEI. 50 universities over DEI. Don't miss Politics Nation this weekend. And Reverend Williams, one of my political guests is going to be Garland Gilchrist, your lieutenant governor. Let me also say that you that are in the tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, make sure you're at the Saturday Action Rally in the morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll be looking for you there to be with us. We have a lot to cover, a lot of work to do, get energized as we go forward. In Harlem, 145th and Lenox, and church and secular, whether you in the church or the mosque, whatever, everybody's welcome to the Saturday Action Rally, because we talk about how we empower ourselves. You that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television or on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And don't forget National Action Network Convention. I'm looking at the numbers. We just a few hundred away from having to close registration, so you better register now. If you come in 1 day, all 4 days, 2 days, and among those that I'm announcing, I'm going to put the whole agenda up as we have it already prepared tonight on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. But I can tell you in advance that one of the workshops on criminal justice, Ben Crump will be heading up, future of where we ought to go politically. We have Stacey Abrams coming to do that. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson will be dealing with the future of the projection of the black intelligentsia and the black church at our main dinner. Patti LaBelle will be honored with our cultural award, and Tatiana Ali will be at our women's luncheon. That's just 4 or 5. There are many more. Jeffries, a lot of them will be there. And you need to register so that if we get over capacity, we only go by the list to make sure those that registered get in. I'm not going to have people come all the way across country and can't get in, and you come from Staten Island and just was too lazy to register because you say, I live right here, I just go. You will be going to the corridor, watching the folk that registered pass on by unless there's extra room. So I'm pleading with you to please register. Reverend Williams, what's going on at Saturday Action in Detroit tomorrow?
King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street. We've got a special meeting, and I want folks to make sure that you join us, because tomorrow we will be engaging with Rocket Mortgage as well as the Bedrock Real Estate Company. They're going to come and do a special presentation. Rev, you've been to Detroit many times. We've got this large building that was built back in the 80s under Coleman Young called the Renaissance Center.
Right.
It's up for redevelopment, and Dan Gilbert and his folks want to do something. but they cannot do anything without dealing with the community first. So they're coming to National Action Network tomorrow. So if you're in the Detroit area, you might want to see this presentation. And don't worry about if you think you're coming to act up. We got something for that, too. 6100 14th Street, 10 a.m. at the historic King Solomon Baptist Church. We'll also have some city council members that will be there, as well as others from around the community who will be there for other special presentations. So it's a jam-packed NAN Saturday rally for Michigan. So make sure you get there on time and be in the house.
Man, why y'all invite me for the fun? I like when folks think they're gonna act up, because I teach acting up for a hobby. I know how to act. You cannot act up me now. Wow, I wish I'd known that. I'd have been in Detroit, but I got to act up here in New York. Let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Ruth in Georgia. WAOK. Ruth, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Reverend Sharpton.
Yeah.
It is so good to talk to you, because I've been wanting to talk to you for I don't know how long, but that's okay. But anyway, everything that you have been saying is true. We agree with you, my husband and I. We agree with you, and we tell other people the same thing, to listen to you. And we have all of our TVs on a Saturday and Sunday,
so
we can listen to you.
God bless you. Well, I appreciate that.
We do, because we love you, Reverend Sharpton, and there's nobody else that we want to hear, because my husband has said it too. He don't want to hear anyone but Reverend Sharpton, because he tells you the truth. And that's what God wants us to do, tell the truth.
That's right.
And that's what you are doing.
Oh, God
but
bless you.
he also put on my heart to do something special for you.
All right.
And he told me to make something for you. And wherever I can send it to.
All right, well, hold on a minute. Producer, pick up and give me her number so I have the office here call her and arrange that. If God put it on her heart, I want it right away. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Cleveland, Ohio, to the Greater Cleveland chapter president, one of the eminent and one of the most persistent activists in the land, Dr. Marcia McCoy. Dr. McCoy?
Reverend Dr. Professor Al Sharpton, thank you. Roberta Flagg, Mother Hazel Dukes, Al Green, and all of your behind-the-scenes action activism. Thank you. I don't know how you do it. I said you had more energy than the electric company, but also to our leader, Reverend Dr. Charles Williams, was the best. Again, we got 88 cities in Cuyahoga County. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Call us. We're geared up. 216-374-0913, 216-374-0913, 216-374-0913. I want to thank those who are already in our training, and we're blessed to have our 96-year-old board chair, the Reverend Dr. Bishop E.T. Cabinet, sanctioning our intergenerational Greater Cleveland Chapter National Action Network Precinct Us Being About Us movement. Come on, Dr. Bishop.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my mule, my brother. On the campaign for the presidency of the United States of America, Donald Trump called veterans suckers and losers. And now that he is again in the White House, he is treating them worse than suckers and losers. These trusted patriots who put their lives at risk, paid for it in pain, suffering, loss of limbs, memory loss, and death itself. He even refuses to visit their resting places. He is methodically cutting off their lifeline to live in dignity, with plans to remove 80,000 positions and cut VA benefits. Just like he's trying to wipe out 60 years of DEI, he's trying to bury men and women who fought and died for this country. Check this out. He has fired over and over again many patriots. He has without one iota or scintilla of empathy or sympathy for people who've lost their jobs. No empathy or sympathy for the poor, the disabled, the left out, and left behind. He has fired newly hired CIA officers, fired and suspended 5,600 U.S. aid employees, causing death across the continent, fired 2,000 Interior Department workers, fired 6 Pentagon officials, including Black American General Charles Brown, fired 2,000 Department of Energy, fired 18 immigrant judges, dozens laid off from the Office of Personnel Management, wiped out education, the Department of Education, offered 25,000 taxable payment to resign or retire. Trump's plans cut IRS workforce by 50%, cut Labor Department by 90%, cut EPA funding or cut employees by 65%, cut funding in schools allowing so-called illegal protests, already canceled $400 million to Columbia University, cut recovery funds for the big disasters by 84%, plans to close down dozens of consulates and cut overseas standing, plan to handpick media outlets for the White House, no First Amendment rights, no freedom for the press, called MSNBC a threat to democracy, schools forced to end DEI program, executive order to alter student loan forgiveness, Social Security to reduce employees by 12%, 7,000. Co-President Elon Musk, wants to privatize U.S. postal system and Amtrak. Where will this country be after Trump's 4 years? A pure dictatorship. We must fight fearlessly and ferociously. We, therefore, implore you, wherever you are, do your part. Join the National Action Network and the People's Warrior, our illustrious and distinguished leader, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Bishop. 96 years old, and he ends the week for us every week. Let me thank our own Bishop, unlike no other, and, of course, Sister Marcia McCoy. Let me thank Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do, keep it real. I'll talk to you Monday.